2025. Members that are here, Melanie Stanley stepped out, Jim Parks, Anthony Abel, Kristen Gustafson, Shannon Goodpaster Lair present. Okay? So we start with introductions. I'm Jim Parks, the interim president of the Blue River Park District.
I'm Anthony Abel, resident board member.
Shannon Pastor Lair, resident board member.
Kristen Gustafson, resident interim board member.
Oh yeah, interim board member.
Okay. So we don't have the agenda up there, but I have the agenda I sent. Did you get the agenda in the email? Okay, it worked.
I have it right here.
Okay, so everybody's got the agenda. Sorry we can't post it up. So I'll motion to approve the agenda. I think a second motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Okay.
And we'll have to wait till the minutes for the next meeting, if we get them. Okay, any public comment? Nancy?
Kudos on what the new building going in on the park looks like. I've been slipping over there in the evening and taking a look as it comes up.
The log cover.
The log cover,
It's looking really good.
just really looking
Yep.
lovely.
Have you seen it, Jerry?
For the first time today, and I was really quite impressed.
Yes, I like it.
I've been impressed with it too. It's
Yeah.
those guys are doing a great job.
Yep.
Nice to know that they don't have to get a permit either.
Yeah, I think everybody was relieved on that one.
You know, that was the farthest thing from my mind was a permit. I don't know why. I just didn't even think about it. I don't know why. Usually it's at the top of the, you know, of doing anything. God, do I need a permit for this? You know? But, cause I don't wanna be any kind of, I don't wanna build something out, somebody come tell me I tear it down. And then when they said that, I'm like, oh no, stop. So we stopped and they did the research and found out we didn't have to have a permit. Were you aware of that?
I knew there was a permit issue, but I'm glad that it was
Yeah,
resolved,
Me
yeah.
too. Okay, let's move on. So no public comment other than kudos and everybody likes what they see over there. And I hope that's just the beginning of, what's to come. I think we'll do more. I think it's very fitting for the community, how that looks.
Does everybody know about the meeting on the 14th? We should have brought that, we should have brought that up.
Yeah, the table meeting
Yes.
over here in the gymnasium, yeah, I don't think,
We should have brought that up the last meeting.
yeah, we could have, and I didn't because I don't think much of it. I think it was show and tell.
Okay.
You have all these different entities with tables and you just kind of walk through and talk and, Flip, do you have a table there? Over here,
No, but I have
We
this.
should have a table, shouldn't we?
well, you know, I thought about that, we should have two tables.
Right.
And we've done that before, and I attended, and I hosted the park table, and there wasn't much, two people talked to me.
So I can share, if you wish, I can share what's going to be there.
Yeah, would you, because I know that the county's gonna be there.
It's mostly county, and so the county is bringing, I thought I was looking for the document, I had it listed all out, I left it at home. So, you're gonna have, Megan Hurrian will be there, talking about recovery and resilience from the county perspective. You'll have, Marianne Nolte will be there to talk about permitting and such that for homes that have been destroyed and process on that. You're gonna have, somebody from the parks. I assume maybe they're gonna talk about maybe Forest Glen or maybe the Blue River Park, I don't know.
Yes.
Somebody representing Parks Division.
Yeah, I think it's Forest Glen, because.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with Blue River Park.
Right. Mary Ellen Wheeler will be there to talk about long-term recovery group processes, like the AUDs, that sort of thing. Of course, Becky Taylor will be there talking about the proposal for the bridge and also the Blue River Drive proposal. somebody will be there to talk about the proposed pedestrian path from Blue River down to the school on the south side of the track and some of those properties there. And then I'm missing somebody.
Cameron for the Firewise.
Firewise, yes, yeah.
Will be there, she's the lead on that, and then Robert Woodard will be there.
And Woodard will be there, yeah.
Sanitation.
It'd be a great time to ask Mr. Woodard some pointed questions.
Yeah, there's a lot of individuals there that are pointing for probably us, Shannon,
So we don't need to have a table?
You could, if you wish, I mean, I'm not opposed to it.
Do you
I
think we
just
should?
didn't have the energy to put it together. I mean, there's a lot of things going on with,
No, I
like the
get
block party thing, we could have a table there, you attended that for the park.
Yeah, I put out the plans, I mean, there was a little response, not huge.
And we need to, do more of that, I
Mhm.
agree, but,
Cause it is pretty quick. So we should just go, I haven't met Robert Woodard, I definitely have a lot of questions.
you should go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to have a table, you're more than welcome, I assume, to have the table.
Yeah, I
if you
didn't
wish to
know
do
the
that.
time frame, was there a deadline or something? I get all these emails, I mean,
You know, we're a small community, so there's room for another table in there if you want it.
Yeah,
Well, that's what I was wondering, like, should we have a table?
I'm not opposed to it.
What do you guys?
I wanna talk to officials, I wouldn't wanna man a table myself.
Okay, so not this time.
Okay.
Is that?
Yeah, I'm
what
thinking,
proposing?
What do you think,
Or is that
Kristen?
very Gary? It's pretty quick, it's like next week.
Right.
it's the 14th.
Right?
Yeah, today's the 7th, so it's a week from today.
4 to 6, I think it's scheduled for.
Yeah,
Right.
so I'm not, I think we need to do more of that, and
In the future,
yeah, but I think right now in the situation that we're in, the things we got going on, I just thought this stuff here is more important
right,
than going off and advertising because, and explaining what we're doing. I mean, we show maps and our potential, what we wanna do and different things, but this was more important and,
Yeah, I agree, at the block party, people looked a little bit, but it wasn't,
Well-
very much looked at,
yeah. And I think we need to do more of that to get us out there.
It's online, it is online on the
Yeah.
website, the map of the rebuild and, what that
The
looks
new
like.
proposed,
Right, I mean, I guess that's
Right.
what you would take down there if you were,
yeah, for people to see it,
yeah.
and you guys have the newer version, right? It's
Yeah.
not in color, it's in black and white.
so we should encourage as many of our neighbors to go, I believe.
Well, we want to see the whole community there.
Exactly.
Everybody needs to bring a voice, whatever
Yeah.
bent they're on, they need to share it, and it'd be a good time to ask questions and find out what they want to know.
Perfect.
Absolutely, yeah, share it out.
So, on that note, what about, the, decision makers tour?
So, Decision Makers Tour, will be happening I think it's our 4th annual, or 5th, I think it's the 4th, and that's on Friday I get glasses. The light's bad.
It is.
No, it's my eyesight. Friday, May 16th, we have Decision Makers Tour, which the MCLT has hosted every year. And we'll start, as we do, go through Blue River and sharing out the positive growth that's happened in Blue River. And that will be state representatives and funders from Ford Family Foundation. Roundhouse, they're looking, they may come. We're not sure if they're gonna make it.
Heather Buck, Commissioner Buck.
I'm sure Commissioner Buck's usually there, other dignitaries from OHCS and there's, so there's a lot of the state and county agencies.
So is that a tabling thing that you guys are doing, or just a walking tour?
It's a walking tour.
So, I know I was invited that somehow.
You're more than welcome to be there. We're gonna have a lunch at the track,
Okay.
and we'll have school buses that transport people.
So is that something that you guys might be interested in taking part of?
I have to work. It's Friday, right?
It's Friday. Yeah, and it starts at 10 o'clock in the morning, I believe.
I'm good on that.
You can go?
No,
You can't go?
Okay.
I'm up to date
Well,
on it. so.
I think we'll step out I might go. I mean,
Okay, you're more than
just-
welcome, for sure.
Okay. I can't,
It's a good time to rub elbows with
yeah, I know,
people you haven't seen
I've done it
or,
once
Yeah.
with them, and Lane brought them all down on the bus, and
Yeah.
they came in and walked through the park and back out, and,
Mhm.
you know, now that I've met Heather personally, and some of the other folks, they know who I am, so,
Mhm.
might be a good time for me to,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's an advantage to that, and
Yeah,
especially if nothing else, Max Gimbel will be there, I think, at this point from the Ford Family Foundation, and he's really,
donate a bunch
he's
of
really
money.
positive Blue River.
Yeah,
So, any sharing out of positive things that's, you know, growth and
Okay.
such that we've seen, or even the questions that we might have, it's a good time to lean in on some of those questions you
Yeah.
might have too.
Yeah, Jim, go.
okay.
What's the date again?
What was the date, Friday?
It's Friday, May 16th,
From 10 to noon,
I think so.
can you do that? Robert?
I'm working till 12 here at the school.
And you can join us at any time too.
Oh, that's right, 'cause I always think there's no school on Friday night.
After school program.
Right.
And Jim, if you are considering, I can share the details to that back.
Could you send me that email?
Yeah.
Because I got it somewhere, but I buried it. And
Okay,
Like I said, that stuff hasn't been on the top of my list.
Yep.
Public things. I've been fighting these other things, and we got new board members and trying to get things
Get
straight.
us up to speed.
Yeah, we have to have priorities, right?
Yes, so on that note, let's, get to swearing. So I'll swear everybody going. Okay. Right hand, I
I,
state your name,
Kristen Gustafson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully perform the duties of the office
that I will faithfully perform the duties of the office
of Blue River Park member,
of Blue River Park member,
board member,
board
I'm sorry,
member
of the district of Blue River, to the best of abilities,
of the District of Blue River to the best of my abilities,
that I will abide by the rules and regulations
that I will abide by the rules and
and
regulations
policies of the Blue River Park District,
and policies of the Blue River Park District,
and that I will uphold the laws and the constitutions
and that I will uphold the laws and the
of
Constitution
the state of Oregon
of the State of Oregon
and the United States of America.
and the United States of America.
Good. I
Congratulations. I, Shannon Gilpatrick,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly
that
swear
I will faithfully perform the duties of office of the Blue River Park District
that I will faithfully perform the duties of the Blue River Park of the board member of the Blue River Park District.
I'm sorry,
Okay, my pen.
to the best of my abilities,
To the best of my abilities,
that I will abide by the rules and regulations
that I will abide by the rules and regulations
and policies of the Blue River Park District,
and policies of the Blue River Park District,
and that I will uphold the laws of the constitutions
and that I will uphold the laws of the Constitution
of the of the
state of Oregon and the
Thank you.
United States of America.
Very good. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Two new sworn in board members. Now it's official, you can't get out. We got it on record.
I think you can.
Okay. So again, here we go, let's discuss officers' positions, i.e. vice president, treasurer, and secretary. So on that note, since you're already a board member, I don't think I need to swear you in from the water district meeting as vice president. You volunteered and you're appointed.
For the park board?
No, for the water district.
Right.
Cause you're the vice president now
Okay,
of the water district.
right.
So I don't think I need to swear you in.
Well, you swore me in before.
Yeah, so I don't think I need to do
Yeah,
that. Okay, just checking. Just keep me in check here.
yeah, okay. Yeah, no, swore me in before, but
So since we're kind of doing the same thing we did with the water district here, so I'm gonna motion and nominate Anthony Abel as vice president for the park board. I need a second motion,
I'll second that.
okay? All in favor?
I,
Aye. Okay, So you're now the vice president of the park board.
Okay.
And let's go to treasurer. I am going to motion that Shannon Goodpasture be the treasurer for the park board. Need a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Alright.
Okay. And third, I am going to motion that Kristen Gustafson be the secretary of the park board.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Alright.
Okay, congratulations. I'm just handing out all this responsibility, I like it. Okay, so training for Zoom setup. We gotta get that figured out, cause I don't think we're gonna get any,
I'm pretty good with Zoom.
oh, so you know how
So
to,
am I, we just need the machine.
We need
A computer?
well, you need the account numbers, right?
the account number.
Alright.
We
Okay.
need the Zoom account.
Is that a secretary thing or a?
That'd be a secretary thing,
Yeah.
so we need to do it for both boards.
Right.
So you two will work on that, and then,
And that's also the person that's gonna be posting on the website.
correct.
And I don't know how you guys feel, but I would prefer the website be where the information is not necessary. Facebook is a supplement,
Yeah, I we don't put anything on Facebook as far as I'm concerned.
so,
Yeah,
sorry.
I agree,
You agree?
the
So-
website would be good.
That's our information,
The website is where we're going to inform the public.
Like your
Yes.
public record.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to have minutes and.
Agenda.
Agenda, minutes, and like our treasurer's report,
Yeah, all
our budget.
budget, all that stuff gets posted on there for public knowledge and agreed.
Excellent. Sorry.
No, you're fine. We need to talk about that, so.
Well, and that's where the.
I have the passwords,
Oh, for the website?
yes,
Okay.
unless they've been changed without my knowledge. But I can check, I have that, and I know how to contact those folks.
Okay.
So you can get these guys the passwords.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can go in and edit everything in there, you can add and take stuff out, it's pretty user friendly. I got in there and messed around a little bit, but, yeah, the minutes need to go in there and the meeting notices and,
Mhm.
okay.
And the minutes don't go in there until after they're approved by the board. So, because we haven't, so that's the frustrating part right now to me, is we've had a number of meetings where the minutes are not. So next meeting, we are going to have the minutes from this meeting to be approved.
Correct,
Past ones we may not have to worry about, but is that,
that's correct.
is that
So,
correct?
Yeah, that's not good.
Does that sound
Yes.
good to you, Kristen? Yeah, so we're gonna have meetings, from this meeting to approve next meeting, and then they will be on the website.
So Kristen does minutes because she's secretary? right?
Yeah, so,
Are you prepared to do that today?
if you wanna start taking minutes right now, you can.
Okay, I didn't come prepared.
I know,
Well,
it's
and
okay.
Ken will give you a transcript.
So we have a transcript being produced right now. Shannon, if you could just continue doing hand, if you don't mind. And then, you can compare that to Ken's transcripts and kinda, and work together on that. That was said. This was done. He's the vice president, you're the treasurer, you're the secretary. Those are the things that matter. Like when we go to the bank, we have to show that, the minutes from the meeting, cause that's what they wanna see.
Right.
It's record.
And it's a public record,
Correct.
and,
But try and go back and look at any of the
that's
minutes.
what I said, it needs to be posted to the public.
Yeah, and what do you think, is a fair timeline from like this meeting today to posting on the website?
So it would have to be right after next month's meeting, cause the minutes have to be approved
Right,
Next
before
month's meeting.
you post them.
Right, so, yeah, so I guess it would be a month away for the minutes.
A month and a week or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at, so like say we approve the minutes today, when do you think the minutes should be on the website?
The next day.
Thank you.
Give you a bit of wiggle room and say the Friday of the
Right.
week.
Okay.
Give yourself
You could
The
say, yeah.
Friday after the Wednesday meeting.
Or you say 5 days.
Yeah, I mean, once the minutes are
See, that's a
approved,
policy that we need to, that's what we need to work on is policies,
Right.
and that would be a policy that we go by.
right, a policy that we all agree upon
And that's something that Mark's gonna work with us on getting policies established. So then we, you know, if anybody comes in behind us, go, well, I don't need to do that till the day of. No policy.
So there's clear understanding of
Correct.
everyone's roles and responsibilities
As a board.
as a board.
Yep.
Give yourself a little time so you can be successful.
Yeah, don't say the next day. Give yourself
Okay,
some time.
okay, the Friday,
I would just say 5 days or,
I know how you like to jump on things.
uh,
I like to give myself time.
yeah, I like to get it off my plate.
Do it the first day, but no, you have 5 days.
in
Yeah.
case, okay,
You can do it sooner,
right.
Yeah.
you know, but just you have a deadline of 5 days.
Mhm.
Is that fair?
I like that. So 5 days after minutes are approved, will be posted. on
And,
the
and we'll
website.
have to put that in a policy and we'll vote on that and that's something we're gonna have to work on as policy. Cause we have very few.
Right, and we can do that with the training and.
Yes.
And cover it.
Well, Mark has a thing of policies.
Right,
We can just go through and pick the ones we want
Mhm.
and put our name in there.
right.
And
And then those will also be posted on the website.
absolutely.
Yes,
You're liking it, aren't you?
I am liking this.
Okay. So again, Zoom training, you guys are gonna work on that and work on getting the counts and, well, we need a laptop. I have one. We can use to do the,
Yeah.
or we may need to purchase one for the district itself. I don't know.
It's smart to have a district one.
Probably not
Yeah.
property up.
Yeah, and then we can put our emails on there that we can all see and use it.
Okay, we can
For
discuss more of that
district
later.
vision. Yeah. Next agenda or something.
So again, Three Sisters Metal Partners, again, we had the same issue.
Do we need to nominate somebody?
Yeah,
Jim, you been doing it?
okay. I'll accept.
Alright, I second.
All in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Okay. I'm the rep for the Park District.
Very good.
Again, I still wanna look at,
Yeah.
even though that got voted, the MOU was voted in, correct?
It is, but, you know, there'll be discussion at the next meeting, so that's
Okay.
the time to bring up your concerns, even though it's voted in,
Okay,
you know, by all means, bring that discussion. As I shared earlier, it's the same thing I have to do at the track. I cannot commit the track to any financial,
right.
nor should I. So whatever, if I were to do that, I would have to go back to my board
Okay.
for the same reasons.
It just seemed like when I read that clip that
Yeah.
there was a workaround in there where even though I'm a park board member, I'm representing the park, the workaround in there, and I don't remember the verbiage and I don't wanna pull it up right now, but it just seemed like it said we can get around that by, if you're a representative in this MOU.
Yeah, I'd have to reread it myself.
Yeah,
To
and
see,
then-
you know, I haven't got it in front of me, so I
Well, the
can't.
one meeting I was in, I said, do I need to get a lawyer to look at this, because.
Well, we did have a lawyer do it, but that being said, by all means, let's bring it up for discussion item. I
Okay.
think it's a fair discussion to have.
Okay, fair
It
enough.
might be a simple enough fix as putting in, like will support pending board approval,
Yeah, we
in
can
the class.
Put something like that in there, just,
Yeah. I can't speak for the whole group,
yeah, right,
You know.
right, I understand.
but I think by all means, as a chairman, I could say bring it,
Okay,
for sure.
fair enough. Where we talked about purchasing secure filing cabinets, there's also, at the
Well,
park.
but this secure file downs for the park though, so separate.
Pardon me?
I mean, those were for the water district, just for the park district.
Right. So, I think for the park, we just need one.
Okay.
It's not up to me, I'm just suggesting.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And the same, my kind of similar question that I had before, like where's it going to be housed? Sort of the same, so the
Secretary.
park, it'll be housed in the secretary's house? I mean, we have to decide.
Well, yeah, I mean, that makes sense, public record keeper,
Okay,
are you okay with that?
It's just a little box.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. My hesitation comes from 5 years of being records manager at the community college and wanting
I shouldn't have said
multiple.
that. She's perfect. Yeah.
So
I don't think it's gonna be that big of a deal.
right.
We give you
It
stuff.
would be nice if we had an office somewhere that was lockable and you had multiple physical,
Other people have access to it, is what you're saying, right?
no, that other people don't have access to it.
Right. Okay, fair enough.
So,
So that's all gonna come down eventually, right? There's a possibility, I think in my vision, of the water district, park district combining into, a utility office.
That makes
Of
more
some
sense-
sort.
That makes more sense for the water district,
So it could
I
be
don't-
shared space.
yeah.
yeah, that should be a future goal,
Yeah, I mean, that's just my vision.
I agree.
The park board's not gonna have nearly as much,
No.
like, personal identifying information and protected information that
Right.
So it'd be,
urban.
but it does
For
need to
now.
be in a secure place.
so it'd be temporary,
Yeah,
so we can reach that goal.
yeah, this is just to get it going.
Sounds good.
I can just see my office at home now staffed with these lockable files. Okay, here's another thing. This is what we need at the park, I believe, for, contractors to get in there, past the boulders, like tomorrow. I'm going in at 7 to unlock the boulders so Pure Water Partners can get in and spray.
Mhm.
So before we had a realtor's lock on the gate, and they had a code, they could just do the code, get the key out and unlock. We have nothing now since the last person left.
Well, and what about emergency response people?
Same thing,
They
fire
need to be
department.
able to get that puller.
They have keys currently,
They have keys currently on.
yes. So that'd be another option for them. But the thing is, they'd have to share that code across the fire district.
Well, and police and.
Now they have keys,
Oh, they have keys,
they have keys in their rigs
okay.
for like public access. So like if you had a store, they would have a key to get in so they could have access.
So it's more for the contractors.
Yeah. Or, and we also have to supply MRT with a key to get back to their property.
Right.
So they'd rather not call me to unlock it. They'd rather have something like this. And this thing is only this big. And I think we mount it on the back of the sign. Most people won't notice it. It's not gonna be like hanging on the gate or something to get with a hammer. And, you know,
So this is the front gate.
the
and then
boulders or the gate, whatever.
you can put them on the boulders too,
There's keys for the boulders.
and then you can,
The key would go in
Yeah,
here.
it's a locked box that the keys go inside.
Oh,
It's
so you
just,
do it.
this thing's only this big.
thanks for explaining that, because I thought it was just a key entry.
So
Yeah,
No,
it's
no, no, no,
similar
no, no.
to what the library
I
does.
see what you're saying, yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
this is just a
or-
lockbox
With the keys in it.
with a key in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And that would make it easier for contractors, for emergency response, or anyone that needed to get in there fast.
Yeah, if somebody's sitting over there trying to get in, they call me and go, hey, I need to get in here. Or they call one of you guys or something.
Okay,
Just give them the code and then get in.
okay.
Some people already have the code. Like MRT. I mean, they call me and they're going, hey, we need to get in there. I said, okay, I'll be right over. They go, well, we kinda like to go back to the lockbox saying, no, we don't have to call you. Cause what if I'm gone? Or I'm, down over here and I don't get phone service and,
Yeah, that totally is reasonable, I think.
yeah, I
Sounds
do
good
too.
to me.
So I motion that we purchase one of these. And I think they're,
I'll Shannon, I'll second.
okay.
Alright. How much is it?
I think they're like $60 or something.
Okay.
I think, did Melanie take the thing for the,
Did you second? Sorry.
You did.
I seconded.
yeah, I motioned and,
Oh, Jim, sorry, I'm getting
I
tired.
motioned and you seconded and we all voted.
So it's under $100.
Oh yeah, it's under $100. So did Melanie take the ones for the filing cabinets? So how do we wanna handle this? Should I just purchase these and then get reimbursed from the treasurer? That's how we've been doing it. I wanna get away from that. So I think,
Do you know where we were in the process of getting a P card? Remember
No.
we talked about that a couple
No.
months ago?
no, that's the reason I put my fist down tonight and say, I'm done. No,
So we need to maybe do it the way we've been doing it and get the P card
And then-
Yes,
for future.
that'd be great.
So you'd be reimbursed from the treasurer this time for that.
And I produce an invoice, so it's clear.
Okay,
I spent X amount on this, and then submit it to you, and then you write me a check.
okay,
I mean, that's the clean way to do it, but the best way to do it is with a card. Then it goes on the bank statement, and you can view the bank statement and go, I know what that is.
So once we get into banking, we can do that.
Right. Fair,
okay.
I'll agree.
I say yes,
Okay,
that makes sense to me.
so I'll do that, I'll buy the file cabinets, and how many do we decide on? One for the park,
And 3 for the water.
3 for the water, okay,
Yes, that's what I remember.
yeah. We can probably always use an extra one for later, down the road. Even with the park, we have an extra one, it turns out we have too many for the water
So
district.
ends up being 2-2 or something?
Yeah. And they don't hold a whole lot, but we don't have a lot of paperwork at this time, so,
Right.
you know, once we get an office, then I think we need to move towards an office
Yeah.
at some point, you know, not next week or whatever, but at some point. I think we get filing cabinets in and we'll just see how it goes.
Sounds good.
So log covers.
Yeah,
I got some update on the log cover from Terry. He gave me what he spent and an updated bid to finish. And receipts from what he spent. So I'll pass that around.
So is he within his original budget, it looks like?
No, he is over his original budget. And so I told him to write the bid to finish on the high end, cause he did a low end on the original one. Here's what he spent, here's what,
He still needs.
yeah, and that's without sanding, he said, to sand and, lacquer everything would be an additional 30 hours, and he said that, you know, he would leave that out, so if we wanted to do that as a volunteer project and save money. But it's still considerably lower than the bid we originally have from the
Park Service.
Park Service. So the final cost is on the bottom there,
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
9,000.
the Park Service estimate was $50,000.
Yeah, so it's a fraction of that.
It is a fraction of that.
And it
Whether
looks,
that was real or not, I don't know.
like everyone said, it looks amazing.
Yeah, it seems very fitting for the
Way
area.
above the product that the Park Service had in mind.
And this is an estimate at this point?
Yeah, to finish,
High.
yeah. I
High
told him,
estimate.
don't go low like you did before, go high, because that's gonna be better.
And these are all his calculations and,
Well, those are his receipts from what he's done,
yeah, okay,
and then he's got hours.
okay, so he's keeping track.
Yeah. And I just helped him work through it. Since he's a community member.
Yeah, so, we should probably vote on that again, because we voted on it once and accepted his offer, or his bid, and now he's got a new bid, so I'll motion that we, vote on Terry's bid for the lot cover with new charges.
Second.
All in favor? Or do we need more time for discussion?
No, do we wanna clarify that we're voting to approve?
Yes. Very good. So, I'd like to suggest in the future that we're more careful with taking on bids, and make sure that when we do have somebody do some work, that it's pretty clear and clarified that, hey, it's not gonna be more. Just,
Right.
I think he's doing a great job, I don't have any problems with it, but I just, in the future, I think we need to be a little careful.
Agreed.
Because you don't want somebody to tell you it's gonna cost you $500 to paint your house, and then they paint it and tell you it's $5,000. So, just throwing that out there.
So one point of order, I think you should state the amount as well.
Oh, good point.
Hey,
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, yeah, really.
$9,202.60.
So do we need to vote to accept it?
Yeah, my motion to do that,
Oh, we did.
we did,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
But we voted to accept it, we just didn't say the amount.
right, so now that's clarified,
Right.
okay. So you want this back as a treasurer or
Secretary?
secretary? Do you need some manila file folders and
I've
things?
got some at home.
Okay. Any comment from the gallery on that? Okay. So I got a question on, community project sanding and sealer or lacquer?
I believe lacquer.
Like a lacquer sealer probably,
Yeah, to put on the log and the
just to keep it from weather.
structure too, but the log too, so you can, see, how old it is.
Currently, it's really stained and there's like fungus growing on it and it's not
Well,
dripping.
I was hoping, maybe Cliff, you can help us out.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I'd like to recut those log ends.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
It is possible, in fact, Tava approached me on it, I'd have to look to see if I have a 54-inch bar that
Okay.
I have one, but I blew up the tip on it.
Oh,
And I can't get those tips anymore, so let me look, but, he also mentioned that that Brinks or somebody had a guy that had a long bar.
yeah, there's somebody around here that has a long bar that.
Right,
Well, Melcher cut it, right, originally?
I believe so.
Yeah, we could ask him.
Yeah, Tava had somebody in mind, I don't recall who it is, but had it,
Okay.
he even mentioned an 84-inch bar, which I've only run one of those, one tree, one time. Just to say I did, just to say I did it.
That's tall.
Anyway,
Yeah.
there might be,
Okay.
I'm sure there's a bar around that can do that and do it good for
Maybe we
you.
could put a challenge out there, huh?
Well, you just need to take off a small piece.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a whole
and-
lot.
and just to freshen it up and then
Yes, it's-
seal it so people can count the rings. and-
Yep, I think that'd be great.
Yep.
Okay. So we can discuss that later.
I can look and
Okay,
let you know, but,
thanks.
yeah.
So I just have a comment here on the agenda. This is the park, is in the permit process for the lot cover. This is at the time I wrote the agenda. The lot cover was started and looks great. As of May 1st, we got the okay to finish the lot cover without a permit. So, yay. Thanks for your work on that too.
Oh, yeah.
Tony got in there and did some snooping around, found out we don't need a permit.
Thanks, Mary Ann Nolte,
There you go, your connection.
all of ours.
So, there were about 6 danger trees taken down and cleaned up by the community members, Cliff Richardson, Terry Herndon, and Gene Flynn. Thank you very much
You're very welcome.
for doing that. And that makes your trips in there safer. Did you notice?
I did, yes.
Jim, I'd be glad to come back and cut those stumps flush if you want.
That's fine. Not an emergency like the trees were, but
Okay.
at some point we might do that. We can also look, at some point, we might grind those or something, I don't know.
However you wanna do it.
The grinder may cut them,
Mhm.
you know, I don't know, a lot of times they put that in the fee. But if you take them down, that may be cheaper, I don't know.
However you wanna do it.
Thank you. Pure Water Partners came to the park and removed a large amount of scotch broom. That one section over there behind the fence, they cleaned that all up in there. So, and they're returning tomorrow morning to spray in the back end of the park.
Are they gonna put signs so the public knows?
They do.
Okay, good.
Yep, they asked me if I wanted those, I said absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's a very wise
Yep.
thing.
Saturday, May 10th is coming Saturday, 9:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. There will be a volunteer effort sponsored by Pure Water Partners and other groups to remove invasive species from the park. There is a flyer distributed throughout the valley for this event. Clothes, snacks, and tools will be provided, and park board members are encouraged to partake. Have you seen the flyer?
Yeah, I'm already registered.
All right, yeah, very good.
Yep.
You
Yep,
seen the
so
flyer?
mine signed the waiver thing.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna be out of town.
Okay.
What date was that again?
This Saturday,
The town,
yeah, the same day the bus drag barbecue thing's going on.
Well, and I've got a track meet,
Okay,
so unfortunately.
we'll be thinking about it.
yeah, they do need to beat the bushes a little bit, I got an email, they still have 23 slots open.
Yep,
So, because they allow for
I think 40.
40, I think, or
I think it was 40.
hopefully it wasn't 30, cause that would mean that it's
Mhm.
only 7 has showed up so far, or signed up so far. But,
We have a flyer to meet Dave, the science teacher who does the garden club, and he's gonna try and get some of the high school students interested. But
okay.
again, there's a track meet. so
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Oh, there's
It's
a lot.
springtime.
yeah.
Just-
Mother's Day weekend.
Yeah, Mother's Day's the next day, yeah. So,
But
anyway,
I will be there.
I will be there.
you're gonna be out of town?
Yeah.
Okay.
At your mom's.
Even if it's the board members to show up, you know, I'm hoping to maybe take my tractor over there and fill it up with limbs and things like that.
Nice.
And take it out and put it on the burn pile and I don't know, if last time they didn't want my tractor there.
Mm.
Just because there were so many little kids and they just didn't, I think they have some binder for insurance maybe that didn't cover that. It's just shovels and axes and picks and. Grants for the park, we need to work on the grants.
Yeah, so I have the follow-up on that. I contacted Matt and Megan. They sent me an email back, asking them for steps. Megan sent me an email back, says, congrats on your position. I'm updating Lake County Blue River Park agreement to share with you all, outlining the roles of the park board. Rob is project manager if the board chooses to work with him in my and Matt's administrative role for the Blue River rebuild. Do you have a signed copy of the attached agreement? If so, would you send it to me so I could compile it in the agreement I'm doing? The Oregon Housing and Community Services Lake County agreement is still being negotiated, so no other contracts of work can begin until it's signed. Matt and I are working on contracts and program pieces in tandem with the OHCS agreement, but I'm sharing where I'm at in this process to let you know funds aren't available yet for work to start. So I replied that I would take it to the board that I would make sure we reviewed it and we wanted to be transparent. And when the initial email went out, she sent me only part of the contract, which I have here. And yeah, I mean, it still has Tony Cassad. There's some parts to it. that are concerning, so I think we need to go over it, and
Is that the original IGA that they wanted us to sign with Tony Casad?
yeah, you can look at it and tell me,
If his name's on there, I believe it is.
I think I have the IGA and, what is that, the local government grant program. But anyways, yeah, I have that part, Jim, I showed to you, and we highlighted what was questionable in the scope of work and what it would entail. And here's the IGA, the intergovernmental agreement, and some highlighted parts too where it was concerning. So, yeah,
You think it'd be a good idea to invite him to a board meeting,
yeah, so
so we can sit down and
well, I consulted with, Mark, from,
Knudsen?
yeah, the special districts, and, he suggested that we could invite them as vendors to renegotiate, since we weren't on the board when the initial stuff was done, and sort of, you know, what they wanna do. And, you had said, Jim, that you talked to Matt at some point that we could potentially find funds for a different project manager, because, I know there was some worry, from how, the last project went with the water board in the community. And we may wanna have a different project manager, so I did reach out again, just to follow up to Matt and Megan, to sort of see what that would entail, but I haven't got any calls back.
Okay, so when I spoke with Matt McRae, he told me that I voiced the concern about, Robert Woodard, and he said that we didn't have to use Robert Woodard as a project manager, and that they had funds to help us find a project manager
Right,
for the park rebuild on that grant.
right.
So, I think at this point, I think the best thing to do is invite them to a meeting where we can all talk to them all at the same time. And,
Invite,
yeah, Matt McRae and, yeah, these people that are involved with the county that have concern and access to these grant funds.
Cliff has a question, I think.
Cliff?
If I may, offer some reference on that. I'm dealing with Matt and Megan from the county with the peer money for the track project. And we have selected our project manager. It was suggested that we might consider Rob Woodard as our project manager, and we elected not to go that route. We felt it was too close, dealing with the county. So in response to that, we had to come up with three options, three different bids from different project managers. And so we did. We were able to come up. We had one that we wanted, and so I assured through Matt and Megan that we would have the choice. You know, it would be our choice as to what project manager, even though we had to solicit three bids. So we were able to get three qualified bids, and as it turned out, the one that we wanted was in the middle, which worked out really nice anyway. So that's the process that they're gonna probably have you go through, is you have to have three bids.
Yeah, and I thought maybe.
And that's reasonable, I think.
That's reasonable to me.
Yep.
Yeah, and I thought also if we, you know, if they'll be at this open house
Oh, they will?
on the 14th,
Okay.
Megan, and I believe Matt's gonna be there too.
Okay, I know Robert.
We
will be
haven't
there.
been confirmed. I think he will be.
Yeah, yeah.
So that'd be a good time maybe
100%.
to, speak to them again.
Yep.
And
Yeah, for me, I even wanna just sort of know what their titles are.
you're gonna be there, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll be back by then. Yeah, just sort of figure out how it works. I don't know.
It was real easy for us. We got the bid solicitations, or, bid proposals from each one of the prospective
It's,
project managers. We were able to sit down. It was Michael Bergman, myself, our president, and Matt and Megan, and we just sat down and looked them over and talked them over, and we made a decision on the spot. It was
Cool.
pretty
So,
easy
how
process.
do you understand, is Megan a grant navigator kind of person, or what is her?
Well, no, not necessarily. She is, she works under Matt. And so
Okay,
she's administrative in that regard, so she does have expertise in that regard.
I see, so that's different than, Cohen, because we have a grant.
Mark Cohen's from the Oregon State Parks Bureau. That's a whole different grant.
Oh, it's a different grant. Okay,
Yeah, that's a
gotcha,
whole different grant.
gotcha.
So we actually have two grants. One of them's been granted,
Yeah.
the one from the Oregon State Parks Bureau. And that's given and solid.
Hmm.
The Pierce one, I don't know, that's what we need to clarify what.
Okay.
For the peer project.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be the same process for everybody.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
I just have a question about that. So you didn't have to take the higher or the low, or,
No, I wanted to clarify that before we got into that.
okay,
And they told us we would have the choice.
okay.
And
Was that automatic, or was something you had to do anything?
we didn't have to take the lowest bid, we didn't take the highest bid, we had an opportunity to view the bids, we did it, as fairly as we could, but for us, our chosen, that we really wanted to have because of the expertise and skill that that particular firm had.
They required three, though.
They required three, a
Okay,
minimum of three, and they were the ones that came up with the other two.
okay,
We were out in the community looking for two other bids, and they came up with the other two, both of them that we're familiar with in this community.
okay.
So we were very happy with that.
That's good to know. That's-
Yeah, I think having them up for a meeting and knowing the process beforehand as much
It's
as.
gonna probably be a special meeting with just us and them, just so that's the subject of the meeting and not,
An
everything else.
executive meeting and stuff.
yeah. A special meeting or executive meeting, I'm not sure what to call it, but yeah, wouldn't be a regular board meeting, okay? I
Sounds good.
think that's something good. Can you put that in the minutes so we have, cause I use the minutes to go back and look at things that we discussed and we need to work on.
Do you want me to follow up on that?
Yeah, would you?
Ask them about when they might have us.
An open spot to come speak with us,
Yeah.
because I think it's important, because we're at that point.
Yeah.
Now that we have a
We
full,
need to select a project manager, right?
yes. Well, amongst other things, we need to just speak to them about the grant.
They will not disperse any funds.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
no.
The funds are not there, and so the OHCS and Lane County need to make an agreement on that. And quite frankly, right now, Lane County is averse to any risk. And so they're concerned that if the project assumed financial obligation or the county assumed financial obligation and that grant money didn't come through,
They're on
then
the hook.
somebody would be on the hook.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
we've counter-proposed with some of that we were willing to accept some risk, but they're not. So at this point, until they get some clarification, that
See,
agreement hasn't come through yet.
See, that's kind of what we need to talk to them about and have them tell us that same thing,
Yep.
basically.
Right.
And then you kind of got that already, but it'd be good for the whole board to hear the whole spiel and then they know that we're interested and we're knowledgeable, we know what's going on,
Right.
you know.
Yep.
Instead of just letting it go and assume that,
Don't take my word for it. You find out,
Well, right.
you do your due diligence, because that's,
yeah.
looks favorable for you.
Yeah, because, yeah, we need to do that, because we just don't want to assume that
Right.
everything's moving along and then it's not.
Right.
Okay. Another thing that we discussed is, the mowing of the park before fire season. So, when I say that, I think I'm talking about the ball field for the most part. It's getting kinda long already, right?
Mhm.
You've been walking out there, it's
Yeah, you should.
probably time to mow now before.
Yep.
It's already getting dry, so I don't know how we wanna decide to do that.
How have we done it in the past?
It's been all over the place, we had volunteers do it, we've hired a couple different people to do it. I wasn't involved in that,
We don't have equipment to do it.
well, I personally do, but
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
The park does it, the park board.
Right. So,
So what are our options? We hire someone,
I can look at some different contractors that have done it before.
either that or we have someone volunteer to do it.
Right. So I can look into that. Last year we paid, a board member's son $500 a month. So, I know mowing's not cheap, but
Yeah.
it's, fire-wise if we do it.
Do we water it at all?
No,
No?
not at this point.
Is that something we should consider in the future?
Probably, depending on what's there and,
Fire-wise, be more irrigation or sprinkler or?
there's things we need to look at, yeah. There's water available,
Right.
so, yeah, there's a lot of work to do there.
Well,
This is the beginning.
We need to get on with the mower. So-
Yeah, so there, I can reach out, like the fellow that's gonna be there in the morning, he does that too. This guy's spraying, he does mowing too. So maybe I can talk to him and see what,
Get a bid and
yep,
bring it to the board.
yep. But I think we need to do it sooner than later.
Yeah. Well, do we have,
A comment?
If I may, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, not a problem.
Again, the track has an extra mower. It's a Craftsman that Mike Manis used to use. He preferred that over the John Deere that I prefer. When I do it, I do the John Deere. So we've had it refurbished and it works. I mean, the last time I parked it, it ran. It's an older machine. With a board, if your board would wish to consider purchasing that, I could present that option to our track board and see if they wanted to divest of it in some fashion. And, you know, it's an as-is machine, but we just had Terry Herndon fix it for us. So, he's familiar with the machine. You can ask him for a reference on it if you wish.
Okay.
But if that's something you want me to pursue, I'd be glad to take it to the track board and see if they wanna,
Okay, because at this point, we have no place to store it.
right,
So that's an issue, you know, throwing a tarp over it, or that's not really
right.
the solution.
could we test run it this month?
Absolutely.
I was gonna
Let
say,
me-
I haven't volunteered.
I have to back up. I have to take that to my board.
Right.
Well, so we're a little bit on a time thing here, right? If
Yeah, we kinda are, yeah.
If we're waiting a month, then we're
I will-
probably behind.
I can make a call tomorrow to Michael Bergman, our president, and see what feel it out and see what and he can put it out in an email real quick. We can make it a quick turnaround, a yea or nay.
We just wanna mow it and then get the contract set up later.
Oh, with the contractor?
Yeah, I'm just concerned, we're a month out for another
Yeah,
meeting.
my concern is, this is May 7th,
Yeah,
and burning season, the fire season usually starts June,
Right.
but it's happening earlier every year, and we might be a week out, and all of a sudden they said, hey, you're done.
yeah.
A week from now, they might say, hey. So I'm concerned about that, because then is this growing?
Well, that's his,
Well, that's why I was thinking, yeah, Saturday when they're doing the cleanup, would the track let us borrow that mower, or can you ask?
I don't know.
He's got to ask.
I can't
for it.
say.
yeah, I would,
Yeah.
I'd do it on a different day, just
Different
cause
day?
you need the space and,
Yeah, we might have a bunch of kids out there or something, and,
Mm.
but it would be good to test it and mow it once and, I don't know if that sounds
Or
weird, but,
mow a 25-foot strip and see if it runs and then make a deal.
yeah,
I don't know that we're gonna want to allow, to be honest with you,
the whole thing.
the whole
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Right.
because
Like
then-
say,
So then we should probably come up with a different solution than to get it done before May 7th, June 7th.
yeah.
Either
Well,
volunteer.
we'll. take
I will
proposal.
research with our board just to
Okay.
see what the opportunity is. It may
Yeah.
not be, they may wanna keep it.
Yeah, he doesn't know, it might not
As
even
a
be an
backup.
option.
Right.
But, yeah, check with your board, see if that's a possibility.
My personal feeling off the record is I'd like to see it go away just because it's sitting there, it's not being run. That's not good for any machine.
Right.
It should be run.
Right.
Okay.
So if it
Well,
can be a
we
use in the
consider
community,
it,
I'd rather see
And,
it.
in the meantime, I'll look at, I'll go over and physically look at it tomorrow and see how it looks. And then, talk to the gentleman who'll be there in the morning, and also a couple different contractors that have done it before.
if you two guys wanna come down, I'll be at the tracks on almost all day tomorrow and all the rest of this week, getting prepared. You can see the machine.
I think I saw it in, Terry's shop,
You probably did.
Yeah, I trust Terry,
but he had 5 of them in there, so I don't know.
Ours was the one with the seat on it.
Okay. He doesn't have any more, so it must be running.
It runs.
so do we need to vote to have it mowed now?
Sooner than later, I propose.
So you could just, if the guy gives a reasonable bid, you can just pull the trigger?
That'd be fair.
Yeah. So we
Um,
get it done sooner than the next meeting?
yeah, if you wanna trust me with a reasonable bid and, you know, I'm not gonna do some outlandish price.
What's a reasonable bid?
I don't,
$300 to $500?
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
What do you think, Cliff? I'm asking the public.
Well, I just, put J.C. Younger, who's done some work. He did our Blue River cleanup.
Yep,
He's got that fantastic machine. He came out and did all the mowing for McKenzie River Trust on the Three Sisters Meadow. I don't know his rates, you know, he's got it wouldn't take him long to do it. And that may be the downside is that, you know, cost of mobilization may cost.
mobilization, yeah.
But I can give you his number and you can get a bid from him, if nothing else, but he is community minded, I will say that. He gave the trust a good deal. And he's quick, he's got a great machine, but,
Okay,
the other one I would reach out to maybe is Doug Farrington.
yep.
And Doug may, who knows, I can't speak for Doug, you know.
He did it once as a volunteer. So that's one of the options that I have, so I'll try to volunteer and
Yep.
even do it myself, maybe, I don't know, you know, I need to look at it, and my time,
I'd probably opt for Doug Farrington first, see what he said.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely, if I was a park member.
He's community minded.
Yep.
Okay, one last thing. I was approached by the gentleman who makes this magazine, and you guys wanna look at it? I just briefly went basically like this with it. And I gave Nancy Dame a copy of it because she's a fantastic writer. And this guy's looking for a writer to do an article for the park. And he's willing to speak with Nancy and anybody else who wants to write or do an article. And he goes by donations. His average donation is $2,000. I don't think it's something that, we wanna rush into right now, but I think it's a good avenue in the future. If we wanna advertise the park. So, just something to look at, you guys can look at that and give me back one so I can look at it. It's nothing we have to vote on, it's just, he called me, he got my name from Travel Oregon and approached me, and at first I thought he was just another solicitor. You might even be interested in that for the track.
Maybe. I'd have to look. What is it? It's just an advertisement vehicle?
No, it's a magazine, it's a quarterly.
Oh.
And it's about, he's doing Western Oregon. He's already did an article for Oak Ridge. And someone, I think it's on the cover there, is it, I think he's doing something for Tim Hooten.
Oh, McKenzie River Trail?
Yeah,
It looks cool.
I would be interested.
yeah, okay, so I'll share that with you
All
then.
right.
Long term, we'll definitely wanna explore options from when
Yeah,
the park rebuild and everything is done.
so wouldn't that be something nice to have our layout in there and,
The-
and draw
yeah,
some-
Conservative Road Trail
yeah.
plans.
yeah,
Yeah.
so, I don't know, I didn't wanna, my first thought was like this, you know, click, but I listened to the guy and he's grassroots. He doesn't really have any funding behind him. He started on his own, he's in Eugene. He's not local, I think he's from North Carolina.
Hmm.
But he came out here for a job, he likes it so well, he's staying. So, and he says, I gotta do a magazine, I gotta do something here.
Those are cool,
Yeah, I thought it was, you know, I just thumbed through it really quick but he's got a good business sense.
I should take a look or-
And I just thought it was something worth looking at, so, future reference.
Cool.
So on that note, I'm gonna, motion to adjourn this meeting.
I had something to add real quick.
Okay.
When I did the block party, Liz, Muzzy came to the booth and was, asking about the park and saying she had contacted and not been contacted back. So I sent her out an email and just invited her to the meetings, and let her know what was going on.
Yeah, and she does the, like, the Mtg partners, like, the website and the calendar.
Okay,
So she's a person that we should make sure, like, when we have meetings and so on and so on.
well, if,
So,
if we do what we say we're gonna do and we post everything on the
Exactly.
websites, then they can refer right
Right.
to the website and get out of the Facebook thing, cause the Facebook thing could be,
right,
you know, I can pull it up right now, and I could have something on there that happened today,
right,
or something that happened 6 years ago.
right.
And to find something on there about one of our boards, I think it's just ridiculous.
Right.
As an avenue for information.
So she specifically came to you and said she wanted to be more informed.
Well, yeah, she hadn't been, and I said, well, in the email, I said, well, you know, I can't speak to what's happened previously, but that if you wanna come to the meetings, you can
Right.
find out, and if she had any questions, that she could send them to me and I could, you know, give them to the board.
Okay.
Did she clarify what, kind of avenue of contact, like Facebook Messenger, website?
She had emailed the board and not gotten a
Yeah,
response.
she
That's
did.
what she told me too. I saw her, she's the nurse at the school. And she's talked to me a couple times and she said
She did, and I saw that,
yeah.
and there was no contact to get back to her, no
Oh,
phone number or anything.
So I have her email, she
Okay.
gave it to me.
Well, I think the email's on there, but when I go to email, off of that website, like to answer cause you can answer the question at the bottom,
mhm.
it doesn't go anywhere.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah,
There's a problem with the website.
it's an admin issue,
Okay.
so we need to work on that.
okay.
Chris Lavoy.
And I do need to send, there was, in the
Yep.
email from Megan, and there was stuff on the peer group, handbook on how it works, and a couple other things, so I need to forward the email to you and Shannon on that. So, cause you're on there already, Jim, so, and so is Melanie.
I wonder why I haven't got it.
That Megan email,
Oh, I didn't even look at that,
yeah.
cause I thought it was just more of that.
No, she added information in the email that I sent back to her when I said I was gonna take to the board. I also said if there's any more information that we don't have,
Okay.
that we should please add it. But, you know, originally, there was 2 emails. Originally, the first one, she only had that little bit of the contract. And
Yeah,
there was
like-
missing stuff.
Exhibit B and no A and C and D and,
Yeah, it didn't
yeah,
make sense, but then she followed it up.
suspicious.
Yeah, I sort of didn't answer it, trying to figure it out, and then she followed it up with this, and then she had
Okay,
multiple, the whole contract and multiple,
okay, that's why I think it would be good to have them come and sit down with us and just kind of hash the whole thing out. And
but.
cause
yeah.
I don't know anything about the peers group or any of that stuff other than what I've heard from previous board members and,
Right, so the handbook's on there, and then how it works,
okay,
how the peers group works, so if you look, you'll see it, and then I'll forward it to you guys as well.
okay. All right, anything else? You guys going to sleep yet?
Close.
All right, I'm gonna motion to adjourn this meeting, I get a second?
A second.
All right, all in favor?
Okay.
All right, meeting adjourned.